Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I have my mood reader mug today because I am one, but I also have been one recently, I think. Today's video is going to be my May TBR. You know the drill, we're going to be talking about all the books that I hope to read in May. So without further ado, let's just talk about that. The first one that I would like to read, I actually got a library hold on it recently, but I have it long enough that I think I can stretch it until May, especially for my plane ride because I'm going to be going to Florida. It's Mayhem and the Mortal by Shanora Williams. I read the synopsis of this. It came out in March, and it sounded really funny and kind of like a fantasy romance that doesn't take itself too seriously. I've also heard a couple of good things from people I follow on Bookstagram saying they really enjoyed it, but it intrigued me. And because that my hold came in, I just decided it's time to give it a shot. This one says, one mission, one curse, no escape. Zyra doesn't want a hero, she needs a weapon. To save her sister from a soul-devouring curse, she has to cross the Shallows, a nightmare landscape of ruined magic, shifting paths, and vicious creatures that eat people alive. Her guide, Thane Valcor. Sorcerer, assassin, walking red flag. His name clears rooms, his magic kills quietly. And whatever he's really after, it's not salvation. He promises to help, he might even mean it. But Zyra knows better than to trust a liar with a blade and ice in his veins. She doesn't have a choice. For some reason, this gives me funny vibes. I think because of what it's called and the, theming of the cover, it just feels like it's going to be funnier than I think it is. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. If anyone's read it, you can point me in the right direction. But it sounds good. It sounds interesting, so I would like to give it a shot. So that's the first one. And then the next one is one of my, I have 3 anticipated releases on this that are coming out in May, but the next one is Roles and Rivalry by Christy Boyce. I'm so excited. This is the D&D little contemporary romances, like YA contemporary romances. They're so cute. I've really enjoyed the stories. And this is involving marching band and D&D, book 3 in the gaming and romance. Roll the dice, strike up the band, and get ready for a swoon-worthy summer. A charming gaming romance that blends the magic of D&D with the camaraderie of band camp. Hazel's senior year at band camp is set to be epic until Max, her childhood crush turned drum-playing troublemaker, waltzes back into town. Their sections have always been rivals, but a shared love for Dungeons & Dragons pulls them together, sparking a romance Hazel never saw coming. Just when things feel perfect, rumors about Max, did Max ask her out because he lost a bet, start swirling and band drama mounting and her first D&D game spiraling. Hazel must prove their love and her leadership are the real deal. A swoony, nerdy romance full of rivalry, redemption, and roll the dice chemistry. It could literally say nothing about this book and I would read it because I loved the first 2 so much. So, excited to get to that one. That one comes out May 5th, so that one's a lot sooner. And then All Hail Chaos by Sarah Reese Brennan comes out May 12th, and I cannot wait because I loved Long Live Evil, and I have to know how this continues. I have to know what goes on. It's been so long, and I'm just so desperate to continue the story. I'm so excited about it. I can't tell you about this one, but the first one I've mentioned before. She is a person in the mortal world, our normal modern day world, that is terminally ill, and she's going to die. But she's visited by a mysterious stranger that tells her if she takes this quest to find this magical flower into this fantasy realm, and she's able to locate the flower, she can bring it back into the mortal world and she will survive. And if she fails to do so, she will die. So she doesn't really see it as a lose-lose situation because the only positive is that she could potentially live. And they're sending her into her favorite fantasy realm, favorite fantasy book and series. She loves the characters and knows them and knows the story. But the person that she's put into is the character you get put into their body is the one that they think most represents you in the mortal world and your real self. And so she gets put in the beauty dressed in blood place, and she is a villainess, and people hate her, and she is destined to die. She knows in the story this woman dies, and so she's trying to use her knowledge of the book and different things around her to try to change her fate, because now if she doesn't survive in the fantasy world to find the flower, she's going to die in the real world. So, it's really fun. I loved it. I thought it was so well done and just so good. And I think more people need to talk about it. And also on May 12th, A Tapestry of Fate by Shannon Chakraborty is coming out. I am pumped for this. This is the Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi book 2. Ooh, I love my middle-aged lady pirate. I'm so excited to continue. In this one, it says she has a quest to track down magical artifacts and bring her to an island, which brings her to an island lair of a sorceress whose woven enchantments are impossible to flee. In the first one, she takes on like one last job to save her daughter, to like provide for her daughter so they don't have to want for anything ever again. So she kind of like comes out of retirement for one last job. But then things go awry and there's lots of dangers in the world and she gets a crew together and then they think that maybe their adventures aren't over just yet. Now she's going to be in a crazy sorceress lair. I'm very excited to continue these adventures and let you know my thoughts on them. And then, of course, we're also going to be reading, me and Becky, Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. We finished finale in April, and so this is the last one in May. So we're going to be reading this one in May, and I'm very excited. This is like a Christmas novella, so it's kind of interesting time-wise when we're reading it, which is my fault, honestly, but because of my schedule. But I remember it being really magical when I read it the first time, and I'm looking forward to reading it again. This is set after the events of the Caraval trilogy, with a special, like, side story, and it's very fun. And I think people didn't like this because they didn't remember the events of the end of finale and a letter that Tella writes. But if you know that, I think this makes a lot more sense. So excited to read that one as well. I've really enjoyed rereading the Caraval series. And then last but not least, because I have been putting way too many books on my TBRs recently, and I've been a lot busier than usual, and so I haven't been getting to them all, so I'm only adding one more, and that is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. This is a series I've heard things about for a little while now and was kind of curious, and then during an Audible sale I ended up getting Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I'm excited to listen to it, but then also in my friend group somebody started listening to it, and so it kind of spurred me on to maybe pick it up sooner than later, even though I had already picked up the audiobook months ago. So I am excited to read this. I've heard really great things. I've heard it's really funny. A couple of other friends months ago again like mentioned it and told me they really liked it, so I would like to get to it. It sounds hilarious and ridiculous, but also kind of crazy, like if Hunger Games was a portal universe with a random human but also funny. That's the vibe that I get. I hope that I'm correct. It's the apocalypse will be televised, so let me read what it actually says. It says, the apocalypse will be televised. Welcome to the first book in the wildly popular and addictive Dungeon Crawler Carl series. You know what's worse than breaking up with your girlfriend? Being stuck with her prize-winning show cat. And you know what's worse than that? An alien invasion, the destruction of all man-made structures of Earth, and the systematic exploitation of all the survivors for a sadistic intergalactic game show. That's what. Join Coast Guard vet Carl and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, as they try to survive the end of the world or just get to the next level. In a video game-like, trap-filled fantasy dungeon, a dungeon that's actually the set of a reality television show with countless viewers across the galaxy, exploding goblins, magical potions, deadly drug-dealing llamas, this ain't your ordinary game show. Welcome, Crawler. Welcome to the dungeon. Survival is optional. Keeping the viewers entertained is not. Like, that just sounds ridiculous, but also fun and adventurous, and I kind of want, like, an adventurous, I don't have to think very hard about it story, and I think that's kind of what this is gonna be. So I'm excited. I think it's a perfect vibe for like spring going into summer kind of thing. So hopefully I enjoy it. I think it's gonna be fun. Those are all the books at this moment that I am planning on reading in May. I would love to know if there's a book that you're planning on reading in May, or if one of the ones that I'm reading is one you're also going to be reading. That would be fun. We can read it together. Thank you so much for watching, but that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.